All right. Happy Friday. Today is July 30th, 2021. And today is a day that, I'm going to be turning 49 years old. So I think I already turned 49. I'm trying to remember when I was actually born. I'd have to ask my father. I thought it was maybe early morning. I don't know. I can't really remember. I don't know if I ever knew that. Maybe I should figure that out. But yes, today is my birthday. So I decided to still jump on, do a jam session. And, when I was thinking about like what we should talk about on our Friday jam session, I'm like, what would make a good topic? What are people wanting to know? And I'm like, you know what? I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dedicate this Friday jam session to talking about the last 49 years and some of those lessons that I've learned and things that I've not just learned, but have even overcame and struggled with. And hopefully it'll be helpful to you. This is not a, hey, it's my birthday. Let's hang out and celebrate my birthday. It's not that at all. What it is for me to be able to come on here and share. It was funny. I had a conversation with my son yesterday, and he said, "What if we did instead of years, it's levels? So you're at level 49 now, like a video game." I'm like, that sounds good. But he said, you're always, getting wisdom. You're actually smarter. And I'm like, you're right on that. You're 100% right. So he was trying to make me feel good. Turning 49, not 50 yet, but I am 49. But really, I think it affected me when I was 40, when I turned 40. I didn't think it would. And then it did. And I'm like, wow, I turned 40. And then getting to that 50, I'm like, it doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel like that could be possible. But with that all being said, still feel really good. I'm more health conscious now than ever. And sometimes it goes the other way where you're just like, I don't care. I'm getting older. I'll start smoking at 40, or, I'll just drink excessively, and letting themselves go. And I have actually went the other way to where, and it's a good balance, but my wife and I are both very, very conscious about our health and exercise and mental clarity, like, self, self-improvement, like all of the things that we want to do to just better ourselves, better our life, enrich our lives. And that's really where I'm at. So anyway, that's a long intro there to say, yes, it's my birthday. Yes, it's July 30th. Yes, I am 49 years old. So there you go. So today what we're going to do is, thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Salma, Jean Murray. Thank you, Jana, Russ, Karen. Thank you. And anyone else that's on here that I did not acknowledge. A couple of it just says Facebook users, so I can't say the name because, well, it doesn't give me the name. And I literally just got done writing my email, by the way, guys. And it's kind of funny, like when you're thinking about, and you guys have been following me for any period of time, I'm talking about email marketing and writing email. And it was like today, I was like, how do I write about my birthday without sounding like I'm saying like, it's my birthday, say happy birthday to me. Like, that's not what it's all about. Funny little story that I'll share with you. So my wife we were just in the kitchen, and I was writing my email, and I got up, and she was in the pantry, and it looked like she was cleaning the pantry out a little bit. Let me see here. Wait, Karen says no audio. Okay, well, that's fun. Let me see here in audio. Test. Guys, give me a test. Do we have audio? Test. That was weird. Karen says no audio. Is it just Karen, or does everybody else have audio? I hear it. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, awesome. Man, I got a little nervous there for a minute. Okay, cool. So the story, and then we'll get into the jam session. And this jam session really is I'm just going to kind of give you guys just some random thoughts that come to mind. I was thinking about doing this today privately, like just kind of like reflecting a little bit and kind of like where I came from and kind of where I am now and the gap in between, and just myself as a, as a human and as an entrepreneur, just growing and raising kids and how to balance and social media, like all of that stuff. So we'll dig into that, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts. But then if you have any questions too, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything. And if you want to ask me something business, you want to ask me something personal, I'll try to answer it. All right. So cool. So that funny story though, this is really funny. So I was finishing up my email. I'm at the kitchen table. It's usually where I write my emails. I was at the kitchen table, had my cup of coffee, and obviously my wife already said happy birthday. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then she was cleaning out the pantry. Or I thought she was cleaning out the pantry. So she had some stuff on the counter. And I asked her, I said, what are you doing, cleaning out the pantry? She goes, excuse my friend here. He's a little slow. It's your birthday, like kind of making a cake. I'm like, oh yeah. I forgot actually that today was a day, right? So she's like, yeah. So she was kind of making fun of me, which is totally cool. I'm cool with making fun of me. I enjoy it. I think it's great. So anyway, it was funny. I said a healthy version of the cake, and she said yes, we'll have something that's semi-healthy. I'm like, perfect. So anyway, let's dig in. Let me kick this thing off officially. And if you guys do have any questions, drop them in the comments. And then we will go from there. All right. So I'm going to kick this off. We're going to kick it off the way that we normally do, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. So here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. This is going to be a very different Friday Jam session. And what I mean is, depending on when you're listening to this, the date that I'm actually recording this, which is going to be different than the day it airs on the podcast, it's my birthday. It is July 30th. Now, if you're listening to this and it's, I don't know, whatever the Saturday is in August, whatever the Fridays are, then, it's just going to be a recap of the day of my birthday. So today is my birthday, but what I decided to do was turn this jam session into a couple of different things. Number one, I wanted to kind of go through the 49 years. Yes, 49 years, 49 years old. Crazy. It's kind of crazy to even think that I can be that old, or that wise, however we want to phrase that. But today, what I decided to do is just go through and kind of unpack a little bit, not like all of the 49 years. I'm not saying that. But what I would like to do is kind of break down what I think now, looking back, right? I think a lot of times as we evolve, we forget to look back at like the roadmap that got us to where we are. And are we on the right path to where we want to be right now? So I'm going to do that here live on my, coffee talk. That's normally what I do here. So on Friday Jam sessions, these are live. If you want to be part of that, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. You can be part of the crew. All right. And if you're on the podcast, you can just kind of listen along here. And again, maybe you can do this yourself when it's your birthday and you're like, you know what, that's going to be something I'm going to do on my birthday every year, and just reflect on the year and just reflect on your life in general and celebrate like what you've done and where you are right now. Are you where you want to be? And if not, change it. That's what we got to do. So that's what we're going to do here today on this Friday Jam session. Again, takeactioncrew.com. If you want to be part of the crew, go on over there. And that's what we're going to do. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for some Ask Me Anything. So if you have any random questions, I'll be doing that at the end. Whether I air them on the podcast, well, you'll see at the end here. If not, then it'll just be this section here. Another reason why you probably want to be on those lives, because you never know what's going to happen. But that's what we're going to do. So if you're watching this and you're here live or watching it on the replay and you want to drop them in the comments, go ahead, ask a question. And it can be about business. It could be about life. It could be about family. Whatever you want to ask, that's what I'm going to do here on this Friday Jam session as well. All right. So with that all being said, let's get to it. 49 years old. Now, I will be honest. Okay. I don't want to get old. I just don't. There's just something about like getting older and crossing that 50 mark. It's like, oh boy, we're halfway there. You know what I mean? You start to think that way. And for me, what I try to do to reverse that is I try to stay in the moment. I try to reflect on what I'm doing right now and what I'm going to enjoy today, this week, this month. And also, how do I feel? Right? How do I feel? Am I taking care of myself? Am I having fun? Am I doing things that I don't really want to do? Right? So those are some things that I think about as I start to get older, right? And I have to, again, always bring it back. I mean, I just visited with my father, who I believe turned 78, and July 4th is his birthday. And just looking at him, I'm like, man, he's doing good. He's a little banged up. He's had a back surgery. He's had a hip replacement. His knees probably got to get replaced. He's had a lot of wear and tear on his body from being a blue collar worker, really, like growing up on a farm and then, doing all that manual labor and then being a contractor for many years. So it took a toll on his body. And I'm just looking and I'm like, man, but he's enjoying himself still. He still bowls 3 times a week and he's still doing things that he wants to do. But I looked at him, I'm like, man, 78 years old, right? And at his age, I'm like, how does he keep himself motivated to, want to, look to the future? Because you don't want to plan like, oh, like 10 years, I want to do this. You're like 10 years, I'm going to be 88, right? Well, one of his things that he has going for him is he has a friend of his in his neighborhood. The guy's 94 years old. And the guy does all of his own stuff, does his own laundry, cleans his own house, gets himself, dressed in the morning, like does everything, got a great attitude. And he's battled cancer. He's had some heart issues, 94. So for my father, that's hope, right? And that's like something to strive for, is 94. So my father's like, oh my gosh, I got a lot of time, right? So as we get older, we start to kind of think about those things. At least I do, right? And so you'll look back and go, man, I remember when I turned 40 and I was like, man, I don't want to turn 40. But now you're looking at it, you're like 49. You're like, man, I wish I was only turning 40. Right? You start to play with these things in your head. And the way that I am moving forward in life in general is just being very, very grateful for what I have today, because we don't know what we have tomorrow or the next day. Things can happen. They've happened to me personally. I mean, heck, looking back at my 49 years when I was, how old was I? 21, 22. And I came to work one day and my wife was sitting in the parking lot, bawling her eyes out, come running up to me and basically said, she's gone. And at the time we had a daughter and I'm, oh my gosh, like everything's going through my head. And it happened to be my mother, right? She died at 50. So next year, that is the age that my mother made it to. Now she had mental health issues. And what I mean by that is she wasn't like crazy. She was, she battled with addiction. She battled with, just a lot of trauma growing up and with her parents owning a bar, just a lot of trauma as a kid, and that affected her. So she was always constantly dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, dealing with all that stuff. And then the doctors were all prescribing her medication to try to help with all of that, right? And so that took a toll on her body, on her system. And to me, that's what killed her. So, looking back at that, I had a lot of great years with my mom. I learned a lot. I had a tough run with my mom. I had a lot of growing up, but I do believe that helped me get to where I am today. I do cover all that in my book, The Take Action Effect. Little shameless plug here, takeactioneffect.com. So, growing up, it was not always easy, right? I had a lot of anxiety myself, probably even bouts of depression now that I look back at it, or just being uncertain and not having a stable home life, because I didn't know if my mother was going to be off to rehab or if my mother was going to be in her room for a week at a time because she was depressed, and didn't want to come out of her room. I dealt with a lot of that stuff. Then growing up in school, I think also because I had those issues at home, I couldn't really focus. So I was not a good student. I was not a good student at all. I mean, I would struggle to get C's. If I got a B, man, I was crushing it. But I had gotten D's. I think there was a couple classes in maybe a semester I got an F, and I had to do extra credit to try to just get it to a D so I could pass. Struggled with education. Then as I graduated high school, all my friends were going off to college. Never was introduced to me, never was discussed with me. For me, it was, you're going to go out and you're going to get a job. You're going to be a blue collar worker. And that's what you're going to do. That's what my father knew. That's what, he kind of was instilling on me. So that's what I did. And I didn't really feel as though I would ever be successful at the level of like, oh, Scott can work for himself, or Scott could, not have a job because I'm not smart enough for that. So I had a lot of doubts, a lot of insecurities, but I had a lot of drive. So when I was working for my father, I owned that, meaning I was the best. I was going to strive to be the best. I was going to be the best window installer. I was going to be the best roofer. I was going to be whatever I could do. I was going to be the best. I was going to be the best customer representative, right? I was going to be the best support guy, like whatever it was. And then I got into sales, I was going to be the best sales guy. So I always did strive to be the best at what I was doing. It's just if it was educational, where I had to learn something and then take a test on it, not good. I just wasn't good at that. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because all of that stuff could have derailed me to where I just stuck to what was comfortable and stuck to what was the norm and what was my plan. Like if my father was, if he was to say, like if I recorded him back then, he would have said, Scott's going to be a hard worker. He's going to work, 10, 12-hour days, because that's what you do when you're a hard worker and you're successful, right? You work a lot, 10 to 12 hours, and he's going to provide for his family, and he may make $50,000 a year, and he'll do great. He'll be raising a great family. That's what my father's expectations for me probably would have been, and he would have been happy with that. But as I got older and I got, the writing was on the wall with that company and everything that I was working with, but then we had to make a decision. And my wife, who has always been the biggest cheerleader for me, opened my eyes to believing in myself. And then allowing us to start our own business. And that's really what allowed me to say, wow, I can do this. I do have a skill set that I'm good at. And that's kind of when I fell into marketing, because I had to market the photography business. And the rest is kind of history there. But through the years, I really, truly learned from all of those experiences. So I wouldn't change any of them at all. I wouldn't change me struggling in high school and being embarrassed because my friends are saying, like, what'd you get on your test? I'm like, I got a C plus. And they're like, oh, really? Oh, that's good, man. And then they were like, laughing behind my back, probably because they were like, that was the easy test. I got an A, So yeah. So there was a lot of that stuff that I went through, but now looking back at it, I wouldn't change a thing, not a thing, because it definitely does shape you. I also think that as we move through life, we go through seasons. And I've learned that. That's one thing I've learned over my 49 years is there are seasons in life. There's seasons in a year, right? Yes, there's spring, fall, winter, right? We get that, right? There's all of those seasons, but we have seasons in life. And you might be doing something right now and you're like, this is what I want to do. This is awesome. And then you do it and it gets old, or you start seeing that the grass isn't always greener, right? A little short story I'll share with you. Some of you that are listening to this or watching this are longtime listeners of the podcast, which I forget. It's probably close to 6 years now that I've been doing the podcast. And when that thing started, I hit it just right, not intentionally. I hit it just right. The thing took off, a million downloads very, very quickly. And it just blew up. And I rode that wave, right? But I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I was the Amazon guy, right? You guys that are longtime listeners probably remember that. And some of you even probably still say, oh, Scott's the e-com guy, right? And that was fine for that season. But then as I started going through all of that, I started to say, wait a minute here. Like I'm doing things that I really should say no to because I want flexibility in my schedule. When I have to say I can't do something within my family because I had another commitment over here, that goes against my beliefs, and that goes against what I started this for. So to me, I always kind of got to go back to the roots of like, what did I do this for? I did it for simplicity. I did it for flexibility. And I did it to have a stress-free life, or at least less stress. We all have stress. It's not going to go away. We just have to manage it. And so when I looked at that, I mean, that's a huge highlight for me though. Like I look back and I go, Scott, great job, man. You did an awesome job. That was great. And, but I also have to say, that's not who I want to be now. My season is changing, right? What do I want to do? And that's the one thing I want you to take away from this little ramble, this little rant here, I guess, that I'm going on, is that we all have choices, right? We have choices to do what we want to do whenever we want to do it. Okay. If I don't like the way that my life is going right now, I have the choice to change that. Right? I have the choice, but I have to make the choice, and I also have to do it. Right? So, like right now, I'll give you another example. Right now, I'm really enjoying this whole niche properties thing that I've been talking about. Okay. And before it was even classified for me as niche properties, I was really enjoying the real estate stuff, right? So I don't have a whole bunch of properties. I got one Airbnb. I did have a couple of single families that I rented years ago, a couple that I flipped. I did that whole thing. So I've seen that side of real estate, and then I've seen the Airbnb, and I really love it, right? But I also know that it takes a lot of investment. It takes a lot of time to get that property to mature. And then from there, you can, reap the benefits. Or if you have an Airbnb like I do, that's very, very high, just a premium property on a lake, which costs a lot of money, then you can charge a lot of money for that and you can do a lot better, but the investment is a lot more. And I'm like, man, but these, then I started thinking about, I'm like, these little niche properties that I'm creating are like real estate. So I was really excited about it. And I'm like, I'm going to start doing more of this. I enjoy it. I love building things. It's kind of back to my contractor roots in a sense, to where we're building, we're finding the land, we're building the property, we're filling it out with, really great things that people are going to want, in this case, content. And then people are going to pay us, the tenants or advertisers, to be on that piece of property, and I can sell it if I want to. I'm like, this checks all the boxes. So I've gotten really excited about that. And now that's what I'm also going to teach, because that's what I'm doing. So kind of going into the teaching thing, like when I first got out of high school, if you would have said, Scott, I'm going to give you a crystal ball, and in that crystal ball, I can see that you're going to be 49 years old and you're telling people all about the things that you've accomplished. And one of those things was you've had, multiple e-com businesses, one of them that you sold for a really good price and you did well. And, and you've got over 17 million downloads on a podcast, like, because you're teaching. Scott, that's what's going to happen. I'd be like, you're crazy. That's a bunch of crap. There's no way that's going to happen. There's zero way that's going to happen. And here we are. So for me to think I'm terrible at school, I'm a terrible test taker, any of that stuff, and then to say, Scott, you're going to get paid a premium to teach online, I'd say you're crazy, right? You're absolutely crazy. But here we are. Okay. So never say never. That's one thing I've learned over my 49 years. I've said that before. I'm never going to own a minivan. I owned a minivan, by the way, but I said that I'm never going to own a minivan. That's for non-cool people. Not going to do it. I went in for an oil change on my what was it? What did we have at the time? A Highlander, I think it was, our SUV, because that's what, cool people drove. And I walked out with a minivan, and I was proud of that minivan. And we paid extra to have the spoiler on the back of that minivan. We did too. That's a true story. And it was because of my wife. My wife's like, how much is it for the spoiler? How much extra is to add that? And he's like, well, it'll add about $6 per month more if you want to add the spoiler. My wife looks at me, and you want the spoiler? And she's like, yeah, I really do. And I'm like, all right, get the spoiler. A spoiler on a minivan. Anyway, random fun fact there. So you just never know. So I've learned never say never. That's a song by Justin Bieber, isn't it? Don't ask me how I know that. And then just, we have choices, right? And there are going to be seasons. The choices that you make now are going to kind of get you to where you're going, but you do need to allow yourself to try things. And you have to also know that there's seasons, and those seasons are some are going to be great. Some of them are you're going to be scratching your head for a little while. That's part of the process, by the way. You scratching your head, wondering what the next move is, that is definitely, going to be there. So that's really what I wanted to share here with you. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the things that I've learned, but the big thing that I've learned is that as you evolve, you're going to also start to self-identify what you really truly want, because what you think you want over here, and then if you achieve that, you're going to probably realize that was cool, but now I want to do something different. Or now that doesn't kind of align with what I really want here, or that didn't really give me everything that I wanted, right? You thought that getting that was going to, get you the nice house, and it was going to get you the boats, and it was going to get you all that stuff. And then you get all that stuff and you're like, I'm not really any happier. Right. So, and I've heard that happen a lot. I've never fallen into that trap, by the way. Like, I've not went and overextended myself and gotten all these fancy toys. I mean, yes, I have some things that I enjoy, but I don't go crazy. Right. And that's also part of kind of who I am. Right. And I'm not flashy or any of that stuff. I don't want to be that person. But it is hard nowadays because you're on social media. You're hearing a whole bunch from everyone, all of these different things, and people are yelling like, you've got to do this if you want to be successful. And you got screenshots of, $1 million someone's made. They don't tell you that they maybe netted 5% on that money, maybe 10 on $1 million, 100,000. Not bad. It's not really a good return though, right? So we have to be careful on what we're being shown and what we're bringing into our own self, right? And what we're comparing ourselves to. That's another one that I want to bring up. Comparing yourself. I've done it. Okay. I'm not going to do it anymore, right? If you are feeling less of a person because someone you're following is making you feel that you're less of a person, or you're not successful because you don't have the Lamborghini or whatever, you got to stop following them. You gotta just hit unsubscribe or unfollow or whatever. You need to clean house, right? I'll probably do a coffee talk or even a podcast episode on really decluttering. I've done this before, but I think it's good to do probably every quarter. Declutter your life, declutter your inbox, declutter your desk, declutter the people that are in your life, because that totally can hurt you. So for me, as of right now, this season that I'm in, okay, I am excited about this niche properties thing. I'm excited for two reasons. One, because I really enjoy doing this, and it's a challenge, fun, and rewarding when you get traffic and you turn that into money. It's kind of like a game in a sense, right? We can gamify it and say, okay, I'm willing to put in some work. I'm willing to figure out this process, and I'm going to get good at it. And then once I do, I can sell a property if I want. I can hold the property if I want. So that's the one side of it. The other side of it is now people like you that are either listening or watching or reading my emails, you're hearing more about this. And if that interests you, great. Then come along with me. We'll go ahead and we'll build some niche properties together, which I'm going to be doing on an upcoming workshop, depending on when you're listening to this. Let me see. What link would I send you to? Well, I'll put this link in there. It probably won't work as of yet, but let's do brandcreators.com/workshop. And that should take you over to that page or any details on that workshop. But it's going to be our niche properties workshop. I'm really excited about that because I get to share it with people that want to know about this. Now, I tell this to people that have 7-figure businesses right now. I've got friends right now that have 7-figure businesses, and they're doing well. And I tell them about this because they're into real estate, and I tell them about this concept and they're like, wow, that does make a lot of sense. How do you do this again? And so I'm getting their interest. So even just if someone has a business and they wanted to do this on the side, just as a hobby, right? As to build something on the side that could potentially bring in some recurring revenue and they can outsource it. So that's what I'm excited about. And I think that's the last thing I want to share with you is you got to make things fun. You got to make things exciting for you. It can't just be, I'm doing this to make money. That will only last so long. You have to get excited about the process and you have to commit to the process. Let me say this. Most people don't like exercising, but they like the result, right? So we have to try to find ways that we enjoy the exercising, right? And then we'll get in shape and we'll look good and we'll do all that good stuff, right? We got to figure out ways to make it fun. For me, if I'm saying, okay, I want to go do cardio, would I rather go and run 10 miles? No, Scott doesn't like to run, by the way. Okay. I like to work out. I like to walk. I don't like to run. Okay. Running for me would be like a 50-yard dash that I could do. Okay. But if I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play pickleball 3 times a week. I'm going to get my workout. I'm probably going to get out even a better workout than just running 10 miles because I'm, going side to side. I'm jumping up. I'm swinging down. I'm using different muscles, right? I'm doing all that stuff and it's fun. So we have to figure out a way to make it fun. And the other thing is it's a choice. If you want to do this and it sounds fun and it sounds interesting and it's something that you would want to even just learn because it would be fun and you would have another skill set, then cool. If not, tune it out. Shelf it. It's not the right time for you, right? Do something else in your business. If it's building an email list, because that's what's going to drive your business right now, and it's going to give you the most ROI right now, and you know that's the next move, focus on that and do it and get excited about it. And then get excited about the people that are on your list and then pour into those people. So for me, the people that are paying attention, the people that are here right now live, the people that are here that are watching the replay, the people that are here on the podcast that actually took the time to download this episode and put it in their earbuds, those are the people that I'm going to pour my heart, my energy, my soul into, because those are the people that want to hear from me. So if you can do that in your business, or if you can pour that love, that heart, and all of the energy into the project that you're working on and get fired up about it, you can't lose, right? You can't lose. So this episode, this 49-year-old guy here that came on and decided to talk about lessons, that's what I got for you. I know it's kind of random. I know it's kind of all over the place, but I think it's important to reflect, right? To reflect on where you've come from, where you've had some highs, where you've had some lows, how you got through those, and start looking for clues that can bring you back to the present and saying, what do I want to do right now? Right? And if you are stuck right now in a 9-to-5 or in a job that you hate, why are you staying? Right now, I don't mean go leave your job, but why are you allowing yourself mentally to stay in that? So to me, if that was the case, I would be working there to provide for my family, but I would be working on something else that was going to remove that or get me out of that, right? Which I've done in the past. I was working for my father's construction company and then coming home and doing photography stuff with my wife on the side at night, staying up late, building a website, doing all that stuff to hopefully get me out of the 9-to-5, but I was still working, providing, right? And then when I was doing my photography business, we had clients every day, every night. I was doing a video transfer business, doing all that stuff, building my online digital business on the side at nights, right? So I was doing that stuff because I was really excited about that, but I had the job that was paying the bills, but I knew it was temporary, right? So just always know that you're not stuck. You have the choice to do something different if you want to. And you know what? You probably will, and you probably should. Spice it up a little bit. Spice up that life, right? And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys here today. I'm excited Yes, I'm turning 49. Yes, I could be sad. Oh, I'm a year older. Or I can get excited about it and say, yeah, but look it, I feel good. I feel really good. I got a great family. I'm doing what I want to do. And if I'm not, I'm going to change it and I'm going to simplify the life, right? Like that's the goal. All right. So hopefully this has helped you, inspired you in some way. But again, if you are listening, watching, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble at times, but just being part of this journey with me. And hopefully it's allowed you to have some hope and some motivation to keep going when you don't feel like going. Because I know it's hard out there. I know it's hard if you don't have family members that support you. I get it, right? I'm fortunate. I have my family that does support me. But I know that if you are at a place to where you're making a move or you're making a change and it feels a little weird to you and to others, it can be hard to keep going. I get it. But that's why you need to, be around, people like this here, like at the Take Action crew and the people that show up in the mornings and people that listen, because there are people out there that will support you, but you do need to find the right people. That's a huge one. Just like my father, right? He found a 94-year-old friend that motivates him and inspires him every single day, right? So find that person and lock on, right? Lock on. All right. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and if you are going to stick around, we're going to do some Q&A if we have any questions, and then we'll rock on out of here. So let's see what we got. All right. Thanks, Helene. Appreciate that. Agnet, thank you so much. Appreciate it. The Scooby Life, thank you. Salma wants to know birthday plans. Very, very low key. All right. We are going to Myrtle Beach this weekend again for a volleyball thing. So it's kind of like my birthday present. I love watching my daughter play volleyball. That's going to be on Sunday. So we're leaving Saturday afternoon. So today, drinking my coffee, going to probably maybe go out by the pool just because it is very humid out. So I might go out there for just a 15, 20-minute block. But then I'm going to mow my lawn. Yes. And that is fun for me, by the way. It's not a big lawn. Got my electric mower. So I'm going to mow the lawn and probably take a dip in the pool. And then I think this afternoon this evening, we're going to go out to dinner and celebrate my birthday. That's it. That's the plans. And then tomorrow, probably get some odds and ends done around the house to get out of here by early afternoon. And then we'll head to Myrtle Beach. So I will be at the ocean on Sunday. So that'll be cool. So that's the weekend plans. Let's see here. Oh, Jean Marie says, I'm excited about the Niche Properties Workshop too. Yes, I am too. Yes, there is too much noise out there. Life is a journey, not a destination. I love that. Let's see. Okay. Salma, how long is it possible to build a niche properties on your own before it gets chaotic? Well, it depends. I'll pull Chris Schaefer's little saying there. It depends on if you allow it to get chaotic. So if you're going to do this on the side, slow and steady, you just follow the process, right? So it's not overthinking it, I think, is a big one. That's where it gets chaotic because then you're constantly thinking, did I do the right keyword research? Is the right content? If you get past all that and just start getting into building mode, then it becomes easier because now we can create a system or a process, even if you just do it yourself. It could be like, all right, once a week, I'm going to create a piece of content, publish it, right? And you're going to figure that out for yourself. So I think you don't want, like, I would not say, go build 3 of these right out of the gate. I wouldn't say that. I'd say get one up and running, get the rhythm of it. And then always keep your eyes and ears open. You're always going to have a little bucket of like niche ideas. And then you can start playing in another niche if you want to later. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. So thank you. How many niche properties are you planning to own or recommending people to own total? Right now, I am working towards 4 currently. So we have 2 that are about 18 months old, a little bit longer, maybe a little bit older now. 18 months old. The other one, it's going to be a funny story because there's a domain that I had with some content on it, not a lot of content, about 4 or 5 years ago. Long story on that one, but I'm going to resurrect that one and start adding new content to it. So that's my third. And then the fourth one we did as an example site just to show the setup and how to post content to a site. But we knew that we might build this thing out. And that one there is going to be our fourth. We looked at the totals. We have not published a piece of content in over a year. It's got 13 pieces of content and it's getting almost 1,500 page views a month already, just from 13 pieces of content, which we didn't do anything else with. So probably right now 4, I think I'll cap it at 5 at a time. And then we'll see how it's going after I get the systems down. And then from there, we'll also evaluate the different properties and go, okay, which ones do we want to hold? Which ones do we want to sell? And then we might sell 2 or 3 of them or bundle 3 of them together and sell them at a package. I don't know yet. But right now we've been doing 2, and that's been for the past 18 months and that's been manageable. But now I'm looking to possibly add those other 2 now that I got our systems and processes in place. Yes. And Jean Marie says, yes, you're 1 year older, but 49 years wiser. I love that. Let's see. Is it better to have more than Amazon associates for income generating on niche sites? If you're going to go at, like, the way I look at niche properties in the beginning is we're only going to go and we're going to monetize basically through 2 different sources. We're going to use ad networks and we're going to use affiliate links. And usually the easiest is Amazon affiliates, or you can use Etsy, or you can use eBay. The very, very basic, easy ones to use. There's other ones, but those are the ones. In the beginning, that's all I'm doing is I'm just going to focus on those 2 for right now. It's the most passive that I can get. Let's see. I'm ahead of you in years, and it's all about learning about yourself and learning, growing, and becoming a better version of myself each year. 100%. I love that. If you were aiming to own 5 niche properties eventually, how would you divide your time working on them? Well, it kind of looks like this. If I have 5 rental properties, I would need a management company. So I'm basically going to build a management team, right? And that team could be 2 people. So that's kind of what you do at that place, right? Because then it just becomes procedure, right? It just becomes procedure. You're going to have the plumbing break every now and then, right? And then guess what? You got to call the plumber, or you got to have someone on your team that's a plumber. I'll give you a perfect example. We have on one of our sites, we've got Mediavine running. Thing was cranking. We're doing like $1,000 per month in ads. Great. Well, just the other day, something happened with there's like a text file that they put on the site that basically it gives permission to all of the advertisers that are within their network to publish. Well, that file was missing. So something happened, a plugin got updated and it got missed. And now it took our earnings and it drastically reduced them. And I noticed it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, got to call the plumber, right? So basically, I called Chris Schaefer and I said, Chris, what do we got to do here? And then he said, we just got to update the text file. So he did that. It's going to take time to get that back into their system, take a couple days. But basically, we were out, kind of like a rental property. We were out a tenant for a day or 2, but now we're back up and running. So that stuff's going to happen, right? I'm not here telling you're just going to set this thing up and sit back and everything's going to be perfect. You're going to have things that come up. There'll be a Google thing that happens. There'll be, something happens with an affiliate link. There's things that are going to happen. But if you understand that stuff, as you build this stuff out, you'll have people that you can call out to, or you'll just learn that skill set yourself. This is a good one. Is it harder to raise your daughters or son? Oh, that's a great one, man. They're just different. I think daughters, and nothing against the women here at all. My wife will agree with this. Daughters, it just seems like there's definitely more drama. Okay. And I don't mean that your daughter is the one with drama, right? Or it's just girls, right? And especially at the younger age. Like, I wouldn't have thought like at 8, 9 years old that girls would have drama. They have drama. They get to be a teenager, drama. They're later part in high school, drama. And it's just a tough thing for girls growing up. And I think now even more than ever with social media, it's even harder. With guys, what I've noticed like with my son, is I got to pull stuff out of him. I'm like, hey, how'd school go today? Well, good. You know, so, you know, just asking him questions. And then you find out later that there was this big fight in school and whatever. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me about the fight? He was like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. John hit this one, I hit that one. And then they were shaking hands at the end, kind of thing. Right. So, yeah, girls definitely, it just can become more challenging. And I think emotionally too. So, there's a book out there, Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus, I think it is. So true. And you know, there's pros and cons to everything. I wouldn't change a thing. Love my kids, and I got a granddaughter now. So I just think it is definitely harder now with girls, and especially like the expectations that girls are feeling, or the pressure because they're seeing social media and then they're scrolling through and go, oh, everybody looks so pretty, or everybody this. Everybody has that. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing TikTok now. So we got to do TikTok or I'm not cool. So there's a lot of pressure added. And I think girls can feel it more than guys, at least in my experience. What was one of the biggest mindset shifts that led to your success? Well, there's been a few. And I think one of the ones that comes to mind right now is believing in yourself. And I think that's a tough one because a lot of times we're going to doubt ourselves. And to be quite honest with you guys, I still doubt myself at times, still to this day. You know, and it's just a part of life. But I think the biggest mindset shift for me is, again, doing what feels good to me and not chasing the money. Right? Do not chase the money. Scott, just focus. I'm talking to myself now. Scott, just focus on number one, what excites you, what you feel that you can add value to other people with, and from there, just believe in yourself and trust that this is going to turn into something good, even if it doesn't work out as planned. Something good will come from it. So I think just believing in yourself, believing in the process. And then I also, the other thing I think is, and this is definitely a mindset thing, is don't compare yourself to others, because again, a lot of this stuff out there is vanity, right? Big numbers don't mean jack. Okay. Because a big screenshot with $1 million in revenue does not mean $1 million in profit. We all know that, right? 1 million followers on Instagram does not mean 1 million people see your stuff. It's less than 1%, by the way. So yeah, don't get caught up in that. So those are some things that I've had to mentally get myself through, because I start falling into that. I have over the years. And so it's just believing in myself, not comparing myself, and having fun and finding stuff that is fun and that I enjoy, and saying no to other things. And now Maisie wants to say hi. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Thank you, Aldo. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. Oh, favorite food. Oh man, that's a tough one. I love pizza. I do. I mean, I think if I'm going to go like, okay, Scott, if you're going to go out to a nice restaurant, what are you going to get? It's not pizza. It would be, you know, probably a good steak, which I'm trying to eat less meat, but a good steak or a good piece of salmon. It's probably going to be up there. Chicken parm's up there. Pizza probably is going to be one of my weaknesses. Favorite hobby, building niche sites. It is one of them. I'm be honest. I just enjoy it. So whether I was talking about it here with you guys or anybody, I would still be building stuff. So I think that's one. And I think the other hobby and I got to get better at hobbies, to be honest with you, because I've not really focused on many hobbies. One of them is playing my guitar, which I have not played in a very long time. And I want to get into enjoying that again and carving out time to do that. So I think hobbies are good to get away from business too. So I think playing my guitar would be one of my favorite hobbies that kind of detaches me too. So yeah. Let's see. Is there a failure you appreciate a lot because you learned a lot from it? Oh gosh. Yeah. So a failure you appreciate a lot because you learned a lot from it. Um, yeah, let me think here. I would say, and I don't know if it's a failure. You know what I mean? Like I don't look at failures as failures. Um, I think like one of the things that I made a mistake really was and I talked about this at Brand Accelerator Live on stage. Is where I started our first digital product business, which was New Photo Biz at the time. And I didn't look at, if they had a trademark. I didn't look if, I didn't look if anybody was using that. And a year in, after I did my first launch, did over $12,000, thought I was on the road to like, you know, success. And then I got a phone call from their company, Photo Biz, which was trademarked. And I had to go ahead and change everything. And I was nervous. I was scared. I thought I was going to go to jail. Because I thought it was that serious, which now I know that that's not the case, but you could get sued and stuff. So I think that was one, is just like do your due diligence, but also don't spend too much time where you get paralyzed in it. But I would say like that's one that kind of comes to mind. Like I was like, man, every time I go to get a domain now, I always kind of look at the trademark, and I kind of do a quick little search. So yeah, I would say that. But other than that, I mean, there's things that I've done that haven't worked, but I don't look at it as a failure. I don't. I mean, I could say, well, I spent 8 years of my life helping my father and his partner build their company that never amounted to me owning it, which I thought it did. So I spent all that time and it didn't turn out the way it did. But I can also say I learned a ton in that process. So yeah, I don't know if I can look at that as a failure. I don't like using the word failure, to be honest with you. So I don't know if that helped. Um, Okay. Chase, what's up? Do you recommend people house hacking by buying a 4 unit and living in 1 unit, deliberating in this expensive market? That's a great option. Again, I'm not an invest or a real estate investment teacher or a guru, but I have given my son that advice that if you're going to buy a house right now, if I was you, I would buy a duplex. I'd rent one side and I'd live in the other, and then I'd let that pay for the other, the mortgage. And then once I got up and running, I got some money saved for a down payment on another house. I'd get out of that, maybe do another one, or maybe just buy my first house and then use that as rental. And those two rentals would then fuel my next rentals. But you bring up a great point, because in this, state that we're in right now, with the market being so crazy, right? Real estate being so crazy high, great time to sell, terrible time to buy. Money's cheap. So again, that makes it really attractive to buy. But you're paying a premium, you're overpaying. Brings it to my point. Right now, I'm not buying any real estate, but I am going to build a niche property, and it's not going to cost me any more because the land is the same price as it's been. Nothing's going up, but the value of these properties is always going up on these type of sites that are selling. So another reason why I'm a big fan of building out these niche properties right now. That doesn't mean that I won't invest money in real estate. I will when the time is right, when it's the right deal. But right now, no. Biggest life lesson learned so far. Uh, well, I think it's things that now that I look back and I say, okay, I have been successful for me, right? For me. Like other people can go, Scott, you're successful, but man, you didn't do $100 million company. Like you didn't sell a company for 9 figures. That's great for you if that's your success meter, but mine is more of putting family first, creating a business that supports the lifestyle that you want. So my lesson that was learned through all of that, and not even a lesson, but I think confirmation, is saying, Scott, you made the right decision, right? It wasn't easy every single step of the way, but you made the right decision because you watched every single one of your kids, whether it was at cheerleading, whether it was at volleyball, whether it was at basketball, baseball, never missed any of that stuff. Always that stuff gets put in the calendar first, and then everything else gets built out around it. So biggest lesson for me, or kind of like reflection, is looking back and going like, never stray from that, right? Never stray from that. And that's why when I brought up earlier that when I was, really, really starting to kind of rise to the somewhat some fame, right? In the Amazon world, and getting a lot of recognition, and getting asked to speak and doing all of these things, and then having to travel more than I really would like to without my family. I had to ask myself, Scott, what is it that you really want? You're starting to kind of go away from that stuff. So for me, it's not about that. Yes, I want to still help people. Yes, I want to still do what I want to do, but on my own terms. And I always want to put the simplicity there first. It always has to kind of go through that simplicity filter. So hopefully that helped. But that's my lesson so far, is that never stray from your real why, right? On why you're doing it. It can be tempting, right? Because there's opportunities everywhere, but you have to say no to more and yes to less, right? So hopefully that helped you. How important is it to choose the right life partner? What have you taught your children about it? I think it's important. You can't say who someone's going to meet, right? But you have to align with that person, and I think you have to be very, very clear on your expectations. Um, I think, I mean, I think fate brought myself and my wife together because we were both going through a bad relationship. We happened to get dragged out by our friends that night. True story. And then we met at a bar, right? So that's the story. Like, so you can't make that happen, right? So I just kind of got lucky in a sense, but I do believe kind of fate had something to do with that. And we met each other for a reason. If you're going at it like you're out shopping, then you need to make sure that you're brutally honest, and you can't go away from what you truly want and adapt to that person, or make that person, or think that that person's going to change. If you meet someone, they're like, I'm a world traveler, I just want to go, 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 go. And you're like, I'm kind of a homebody. I like to stay home and sit by the pool and chill. And then they're like, yeah, but traveling's so much fun, but I get it. Yeah, I guess staying home would be cool. I guess I could do that, but I'd still want to travel a little. You'd want to travel. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll travel a little. And I'll be like, but I still want to stay home. And you're like, yeah, I know. But I mean, right now it's so great, right? It's like, everything's awesome. Like, we love each other. Like, and you go through all this stuff. And then later on down the line, that person's being drawn away. You're being drawn away. That's a problem. Or if you meet someone, they're like, never would want to be an entrepreneur, never would think that stuff works, thinks that the people that do that stuff are just scammers and spammy people. And then you're going to, that's kind of like a red flag, right? So I just think being brutally honest, and not trying to be someone you're not, and not trying to compromise your life for what someone else might want, just because that person you think is your life partner, right? So that's what I would say. Russ says, so agree. I'm dealing with that drama now. Yeah. Kay says, yes, boys are skimpy on the details. They sure are. If you could leave three legacy teachings behind, what would they be? Ooh, you guys had some good questions there. Man, I'd have to really think on that. I mean, the biggest thing I think to leave behind for me is for my kids to be able to look back and go, wow, my father was always there. He always put family first. He was tough on us, but he did it because he loved us and he wanted to teach us some life lessons. He was fun. He was funny. And that would carry out into their bringing up of their kids. So that's like one like family thing that I would like to leave behind, and just have that continue. And then I also think, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you three, but I can give you another one that would be just that people would look at the work that I've put out there, even just this right here, and go, wow, there was this guy, Scott Volker, who showed up and, really, really helped people genuinely. And you could tell he was just a regular guy. But he was also the guy that was like, hey, listen, just take action. He was the take action guy. And he's the guy that got me to want to do this and motivated me to do it. And I just really resonated with him. So he's the one that kind of opened my eyes to this thing. So maybe just having a little bit of that left behind. I don't know about a third one. I'd have to dig into that one. I don't know if I got time for that. Oh, Karen, what a nice little message here. We are blessed to have you always give us so much. I love how passionate you are about all you do, work, family, etc. You encourage others, and I am grateful to have you as a friend tour. Again, happy birthday. Thank you, Karen. That means a lot. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. This was a long Friday jam session. I'm not sure if I'll air all of this at the end there of the questions. Maybe I will. But I just want to say thank you, guys. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, it's my birthday. But I wanted to come on here and just kind of give you some reflection of kind of what I was thinking on my walk this morning. Like, this stuff, I think, will help people, because a lot of times people don't hear the internal thoughts and the things that are happening internally. And I will tell you this right now. I will be 100% transparent with you, honest with you, and really let you know when I'm struggling with something, right? And letting you know how I dealt with that, because I think that's just as important as me telling you, oh, I did this thing and it worked, right? We want to also hear, how did you get through that mental struggle? How did you deal with that? And I think that's where some lessons can be learned. And today, if all you took away from this was, wow, Scott was a terrible student and he still was able to do this, man, I'm going to do this. If he can do it, I can do it. If you get just that one little nugget, it's a win. It's a win for me. All right. So guys, have an awesome, amazing day, afternoon, whenever time it is, or whatever day it is for you. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to hang out with us, head on over to takeactioncrew.com and we'll see you over there. If you're interested in this niche properties thing that I've been talking about and you want to attend the workshop, depending on when we have it, when you're listening to this, head on over to brandcreators.com/workshop and you can get details there. All right, guys. So take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.